Well, everyone, it's time for us to go ahead and compare the EarPods that I love using against the AirPod Pros 2s and see whether they're worth upgrading. Now, this may seem like a random comparison, but I did these same things with the AirPods 3s, and I'm going to tell you guys between these two sets of headphones, the wired ones and the wireless ones, I use EarPods more than I ever use any of my AirPods. I own all the AirPods. I rarely ever use them unless I'm doing comparisons and stuff or testing them. And the reason for that is because I always found AirPods to be way more reliable, and there are some advantages that work out better for me than AirPod Pros. Now, if we take a look at the headphones side by side, there are obviously some crazy big differences, and if I go ahead and zoom in, you'll basically be able to tell that yes, AirPod Pros do have pretty much more advantages, I would say. So if we take a look, you have the ability with AirPod Pros, to remove and replace these tips. And that is something that AirPods don't really have the advantage of. They are basically one size fit all. Whereas with AirPod Pros, you can actually go ahead and customize these tips. I've seen a lot of people have certain tips if they work out. That way they can go and replace them and they don't have to use like sweaty ones all the time. So that is something that can stand out for some people. With EarPods, like I said before, they are one size fits all and they do lack a lot of features that AirPod Pros have. But personally, between both of these, EarPods fit better in my ear than AirPod Pros. So even though I interchange these tips out and I can go and customize it, these things do not fit in my ear at all. Same thing with AirPod 3s. EarPods or fit more in my ear like original AirPods or AirPods 2s. So because of that, I tend to use EarPods more so than AirPod Pros. But there are a lot more advantages with AirPod Pros. For one, you do get the wireless charging case and wireless ability. With AirPods, you always have to have them plugged in, and there's an annoying wire. With AirPod Pros, there is no wire. They are completely wireless. So if you're somebody who's working out or you're going on a run, you don't have to worry about this dangling wire every single place you go. So that is something I really do like about AirPod Pros. And there are also some built-in features, things like Find My. With the AirPods, if you lose them, they're pretty much gone. Now these things are like 20 bucks, so they're not like 200 or something dollars like AirPods, but you do have Find My. You have a little speaker built in at the bottom. So if you're going through and you lose these, well, it's a lot easier of a process to find them. But also, you do get a lot more features built in, like spatial audio and noise cancellation. So if you're going through and you're in a very loud area, let's say you're in a library, you really want to focus, or you're traveling through a city and you're taking public transit and there's a bunch of noise, or you're traveling, these things will pretty much cancel out all the noise around you. And that is one thing that whenever I've used AirPod Pros when I'm traveling or if I'm in a loud area, it is really nice to have that noise cancellation feature because it does help drown out the noise. Now, there is something called transparency mode with these as well, which basically go through and they, basically you can hear your surroundings more. So these things have such a tight fit that they just basically, drown out all the noise. But you can also turn on transparency mode if that's something that you like, so you can hear around you. Now, those are all the benefits of AirPod Pros. Now, with Pros 2s, you do have the little speaker grill at the bottom so you can hear them. You have a little lanyard loop on the side as well. But I will tell you, with EarPods, whether you have these ones that I have here with the lightning connector at the end, such as these ones, or you have the ones with the standard headphone jack, these things, in my opinion, by connecting them to your iPhone, you have, I would say, a little bit more of a reliable connection. I've had tons of situations where my AirPods would just randomly disconnect or there would be random issues and I would just have to repair them like 10 to like 2 or 3 times in order for me to actually, connect them to my iPhone. And then randomly when they are connected, they'll switch back between devices and it can be kind of annoying. With EarPods, they just connect to one device at a time, which can be a disadvantage for some people, but I personally like that. But also, you don't have to worry about battery life with these specific headphones. If you're traveling, there's been so many times where I thought I had a full charge on my AirPods and I don't. Sometimes the case may not be charged up, sometimes the headphones won't be charged up all the way, and that can cause some annoyances and have to wait for them to charge up. And, these things do have batteries within them, which is good. And I will say these battery lives on the Pros 2s have improved, but with the EarPods, there's no battery. So you can just go ahead and just, use these as long as they can. Now, there is like a battery inside these technically, but they aren't like, going to die. There's probably like tens of thousands of hours you can use these things before they even die out. Now, the wire is another thing that is kind of annoying. Personally, if you're in one area at all times, then it probably won't be that big of a deal to you. But personally, when it comes down to both these, like I mentioned before, I like using EarPods more than I like using AirPods. And that's just how it's going to be, I think, for the time being, until AirPods battery life is like way better or something like that. I think I'm always going to sustain and use, EarPods. But even between these two, the AirPods Pros just don't fit in my ear that well, especially these Pros 2s. I understand that you can go and change, the tips out and everything, but I wish I could go and use AirPod Pros. These things just don't sit well in my ear. If I'm working out, I pretty much always have to use earpods. If I'm sitting somewhere and if I'm going long distances, I like using earpods because I don't have to worry about the battery life. But I do wish I could use AirPods on an everyday basis. It's just my ears just tend to work better with the earpods. But I will tell you at the end of the day, AirPods Pros have way more features in them, and they are just way more. I mean, they're more expensive, so they should have way more features. But I still think for the time being, I'm probably going to stick with earpods for a majority of things. You have been using AirPods Maxes a little bit more now, but earpods tend to be the most stable, versions of headphones that I've been using. So that's kind of how both these things compare, like $20 headphones versus 200 something dollar headphones. If you have any other thoughts or questions, please let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.